All right, so week 4 in our course, we are covering some, again, really fundamental topics in web development. We're going to continue our adventure with Free Code Camp. Even though we're locally installed now, right, because we have a local development environment, we're going to continue using Free Code Camp for this week, and then next week we'll move to actually learning Bootstrap. So this will end this week, our Free Code Camp work that we've done, but I definitely recommend keeping keep going with Free Code Camp because they offer a lot of great content. And in this week, we're going to get some practice coding because now you've gotten practice coding HTML and CSS. And so we're just going to give you more because this is really the idea of this course is the more time you get behind that keyboard. And there's a video to go with this, so I'm not going to recover it. But in this case, you're going to do this in your private repo. Okay. And then you'll post a print screen out in that you'll put in the public repo just to show your output. Okay. So just keep that in mind as you're working through this. And I'll just hit back here. So the other thing you're going to do is you're going to get exposed to something that if you've never heard of, which is the MDN network. Okay, so it's actually called, and I'll go ahead and open the link here. They no longer call it what actually it originally was, which was the Mozilla Developer Network. It's just a resource for developers by developers, and this is really the definite guide, the infinite guide. I'm trying to think of the right word here, but it is the ultimate resource in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it's been that way for a while. And you could think about how it's changing because of AI and Gen AI, because of the way this site is such a resource. A lot of the things that you may want to know about could be on Gen AI, but learning how to navigate this site and find things is going to be important. Because this week, what you're going to do is actually do a little, let's go back here. We're actually going to do a little AI learning. So we're going to take something that you've been exposed to and, go look at MDN and find it out there and learn more about that. Okay, so then probably in Thursday nights, one of the, I think, really important assignments you have is you've done by this time the cafe menu. And so what you're going to do is remix it with a visual overhaul, just to take some of the components like you can see here just from the video. I ended up taking, now you haven't seen the cafe menu, but I ended up taking that idea of the cafe menu and customizing it for a bike shop spoke and sprocket. So you come up with that and then you use, you'll end up creating this out, in this case, in your public repo so that we can share it and everybody can see how you took what we use and just played with it to create something new. And so that skill to be able to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take an ending project and customize it is a really important and helpful skill to have because oftentimes just starting from a blank page can be just overwhelming. Okay. And then we'll end with a prompt versus code debate because now that you've experienced, the idea of coding and the idea last week of actually using bolt.new to create websites, there's an important discussion to be had here around this. Okay. So we're going to end the week with that. All right. So let's actually look at what you need to do now that I've given you your overview for your attendance. Okay. So for your attendance, now by the way, we're at the midpoint of the semester, right? So we've moved from that guided sandbox, which we're still going to be using Free Code Camp, but now we're actually going to be doing work locally in VS Code, which is a really helpful thing to have. But I think it'd be a good time to kind of check the vibe. What's your vision? Because we have some things coming up. And again, this is a no judgment zone. This is just like kind of check in how you doing, right? So how you feeling about the transition of local files? Have you gotten the handle on GitHub, the workflows, the commits, right? Anything there you feel like, yeah, I'm getting it, but I'd like more practice. Or you could also talk about, have you heard of MDN, right? And I've provided again the link here just to, if you wanted to just go take a look. And you can, give us, hey, I'm feeling confident. Now you can actually include the light if you want. You don't have to. Might be kind of fun if you do, right? Or if you're feeling overwhelmed and you need a map, a road map to get caught up. Totally. Now, what I would say to you is if you're here, right? Again, no judgment, because it is really important if you're taking a course and you're struggling with something, that you reach out for help. We do have a tutor for 82. You can check the simple syllabus for, in this case, Zach's schedule, if you need help. But of course, coming to see me during my office hours, again, listed in simple syllabus, is a very good thing, right? So that's the first thing. So just, how you, just a vibe check, how you doing, right? And then we're getting ready to, after next week, start working on your project zero. And we haven't, back in week 2, I know it seems like forever ago, you picked a topic, right, for your site. So now that you've been through and seen some CSS, do you want to change your topic, right? So just think about that. And if staying with the same, tell us if you're sticking with it. If you've pivoted, tell us if you have and why you've pivoted. Okay. So then the last thing I want you to talk about is I've given you just here, we're going to this week finish that cafe remix, and you're going to change background fonts and content, right? For that helps you build that specific site. Now, actually, in this case, I appreciate that I didn't catch this before, because in this case, it doesn't help you build it, but it does get you ready to build it. Okay, because these are some of the things you're going to end up doing once you get a template, which I will talk about next week. Okay. And just, instructor tips, right? So many professional developers pivot their ideas when they see what the technology can do. It changes their mind. And now that we're in, and changing that mind now before you're in week 6. And starting in week 6, we actually end up working every Monday and Thursday. One of your items is going to be working on your project zero. Okay. So in this case, I didn't require a reply, right? But just check these boxes for, kind of how you're feeling. I know you haven't seen the remix yet, but knowing what we're going into and clarifying that, we're not specifically working on the project zero, but we're working towards skills that allow you to complete that project. Okay. Keep all that in mind. Have a great week. Reach out for help if you need it. Have a good one.